Welcome to Needed Conversations once again. Thanks for being here, for showing up for one more episode. Today we have a very good conversation, a little different, but really good. I got to talk to one of my friends, Farina. He's a student veteran, which means that he was serving in the Navy for a few years, and he has a lot of good stories to tell, but we talked about his experience as a student, and he gave us some advice for those who are going through that same situation or they are about to go through it. This is going to be very helpful. So if you know someone that might need this conversation, then don't forget to share. Also, I encourage you to subscribe, leave me a like. If you're listening to this through podcast, then please leave a review, because that's going to help me take it to more people. And well, everyone grows when we grow. So I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, let's go check this out, and I'll see you at the end of it.
Welcome everyone to Needed Conversations once again. Today I have a special guest, Steven.
What up?
And we're going to have a very nice conversation. Why don't you introduce yourself before we start?
Hello everyone, my name is Steven Farina. I'm a student here at SAGU. Yes,
I needed to do that.
That's hilarious.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I just learned how to use all these buttons. And
that laugh track lasts a long time.
Yeah, it was a very long laugh.
Oh.
But anyway, so sorry, restart. I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah, okay. My name's Steven. I'm a senior here at SAGU. I graduate this semester just in
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah, like 16 days. Whoa.
16.
16.
Wow.
Yeah,
Me
the 30th.
too. We're going to graduate together, so I'm excited for that.
We're actually going to sit next to each other, right?
How do you know that?
Your last name, my last name.
Montoya.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
I was like, wait.
We're going to be so far apart.
Yeah, because yours started with F and
Yeah.
mine with M, so we're kind of far. Anyway, but what we're going to talk about today is, so you're a military, or you were military.
I was in the military, yeah.
You're a veteran now.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk about the student life as a military veteran.
Yeah.
You know, because I know there's a lot of people in that situation right now, and they might feel like they're in a very similar position right now to what you went through. All this, what was it, 4 years, 5 years of school?
4 years of school, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So to begin with, what do you think were like the hardest struggles as let's say as a freshman, when you came as a freshman the first year?
Probably like one of my biggest struggles was just being a part of like student life. For like the longest time, like nobody knew who I was. I didn't know anybody because I thought of school as my job. So I was very like school focused, work, because I was getting paid to be here. So I had to put all my focus into that instead of being social and, you know, my work ethic, you know, not even just from the military, but from growing up, played into like, I need to do good in school. I want to do good in school. Yeah. I wanted to set that bar for myself.
Yeah. And then I bet you came with this like sense of like you got to keep yourself in order and like self-discipline and all of that, because of you were coming out of the Army. What was the Army like very...
Well, so I was in the Navy.
Navy, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay, Navy. Sorry. But okay, now I feel so bad because I was like confused. But
no worries.
But I'm pretty sure they have a very like discipline, like very hard discipline with the people. Or how does that work?
Yes and no. Like when you first join and get in, it's basically they train your mind to think that way. And then like as time goes on, I was in the Navy for 9 years. So I was kind of get this point of like being relaxed and like just like that type A personality of like, I'm going to do what I want when I want, but in a respectful manner.
Right.
So it wasn't just like necessarily discipline, but like knowing that I had a job and that it made, I had a job and it had a purpose and a reason to do that job. So I had to be at a certain standard, not because they told me to or I had to, but it was because someone else's life was dependent on it.
Right. And I know we're not. I mean, we're talking about your student life as a military, Navy veteran.
Yeah.
But what was some of the craziest things you went through when you were in the Navy?
Honestly, not too much because of what my job was. Probably the craziest thing that happened to me was in Afghanistan, and we started working during the night because it was getting so hot. And during the day, you just heard some sirens going off and some explosions. And normally, like EOD, like you'd hear explosions normally, and you're just like, oh, like those guys are just blowing something up. Well, this time we're hearing all these explosions, and people are like coming to our doors and like, hey, just make sure you guys are here and safe. Like we were actually just had a mortar attack.
Oh, what?
And I was like, are we gonna go out and like do anything? Like put our battle rattle on and get our guns loaded? And they're like, no, stay here in your room. I was like, get out of here. I'm watching a movie.
What?
Yeah.
That was it like that chill? They were like,
Yeah, I was like,
just got bombs and like at the door. We're cool.
Yeah, I was like, if I can't go out and like actually do anything, I might as well just sit here and watch my movie. And if I die, I might as well die in peace.
Wow. And why is that? Why don't they like attack back? Or
I'm sure they had somebody go and check out like the location of where it originated from.
Okay.
But
they're not gonna send like a massive attack with everyone they got.
yeah, and like most of the time, like those guys are kind of sneaky. What they do is like they'll set up the mortars, and they'll have them like on timers, or something will happen to where everything will release and launch, and they're already out of the area. So like you can't even go find them anyway. So they put like little like triggers and stuff. During the wintertime, I guess like they freeze them, and when it starts getting warmer, they start to melt. And so when it starts melting the ice, and it will release the mortar and doof.
Oh, that makes sense.
And also that was the first time that base got attacked in like 3 or 4 years.
Oh wow!
So
you were there for that.
I was only there for 9 months, but I was there for that first attack.
That's crazy. That's pretty crazy, but I'm glad everything's fine. You were able to come back. And so we're both studying digital media arts.
Yeah.
Why did you choose digital media arts?
So I actually started off as a business and sports management major.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah. So getting out of the military and like coming to school, I was like, you know what? I just want to like work out and like get ripped and buff and do stuff like that, you know? And like, I was like, you know what? I might as well do that for my job and know more about it and learn about it. Well, I come to find out that business and sports management is like business more stuff, and I really didn't know what it was.
Business side.
And it's kind of like, oh, you'll be like a general manager for a team, or you're going to run like the YMCA or something like that. Oh. And I was like, this is boring.
I want to be the one using YMCA and not running it.
It was boring, and like I started like looking like to the classes and like preparing myself. That's another like thing from the military was I set out an entire schedule of what my whole 4 years would look like, so I would be prepared, and so I knew what would happen. So I'm like planning this stuff out, and I'm like business law, ethics of whatever, and I was like, I know that that's going to require me to write probably like a thesis paper or whatever towards the end, and I was like, no,
it's not
me.
Yeah, I feel that. I've never been a writer.
It takes me forever.
Yeah, that's the thing. So many times happened that when I thought I did my best in a paper, then my English teacher will find all these mistakes, and I'm like, I promise I did my best.
There was time like when I first started off, it was so frustrating. I would go sit like, go write like a 500 word paper. Like, okay, like MLA formatting. I'm like, a what? A who? What is going on? Like, I had no idea. Because it was 10 years before I've been in school.
Wow.
Since I've been in school. So for the past 10 years, I haven't done any of this stuff. And so like, they're like talking to me and giving me assignments like I've been doing it for.
So that was a shock, I bet, for you to having to go from working for 10 years with the Navy and then going back to student life. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And like, I didn't have a job for like 2 years. Wow. I didn't work anywhere. So like, I had a job at Domino's for like a year. That was my first and only job I've had since being out of the military.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Did they let you take the pizzas at the end?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, that's nice.
If like they'd make mistakes, and I would take some. But going back, kind of forgot what we were talking about. Like
Going back to when you were in the transition
from business
Navy to business major to DMA major.
Yeah, so I did the business major, sports management, and I was like, this is not for me. I don't want to do this. So I I thought about just quitting school. I was like, you know what? I have a military background. I can just probably get a pretty decent job somewhere else just from that alone. Well, I ended up staying, and I'm like, all right, maybe I'll do either digital media or criminal justice. Criminal justice is like kind of like the same thing. Like there's all these law books and stuff that you have to like kind of like read over, and like criminal cases and stuff like that, get familiar with those. And I was like, I'll do digital media. I take intro to media, and I'm like just like super pumped the first day. He's like going over like camera terms and like stuff like this, and I'm like taking notes, like excited. Like I can't wait to do a rack focus, Yeah. And so intro to media, I was like stoked, and like I put a lot of effort and work into it, and I was like, I love this. Yeah. This is what I'm doing.
And look at you now. You're like a whole genius with cameras and lights.
Yeah, I'm really invested.
Yeah.
There's no B plan after I graduate. Like it's going to be this.
Yeah. Like
there's something in this field that I'm going to be doing.
Right. And I definitely see that in you. Like from everyone else that in our group, in our like generation graduating, I honestly haven't seen anyone else with that like knowledge about equipment and stuff. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, you know all the brands and what they offer and the differences, and I'm like, man, I know how to use a camera, but I don't know the names of every single thing.
That kind of does like stem a little bit too from being in the military, because at one point I was in charge of like 150 pieces of equipment. Oh wow! So I learned where each piece of equipment was, and so someone would be like, hey, where's truck whatever number, and I'd be like, oh, it's the 4th row, 5th one in. So I knew exactly out of how I parked them, I knew exactly which truck was which and what was wrong with them or what needed to be fixed. Okay. So I kind of trained my mind in certain ways to know like where certain things were and how to articulate like the differences between them.
Right. And so you say after high school I'm guessing you went right
into it
to Navy. So that was 10 years and you came to school. And that means you were probably older than most of the students.
I was the oldest freshman for sure.
Yeah. I remember we were in Comp 1 or Comp 2 together.
Maybe Comp 1.
Dr. Alexander.
Yeah. No.
Was it?
It might have been Comp 2.
Comp 2, yeah.
Maybe. I don't really remember you in Comp 2, but I remember you in Authentic Christianity.
I remember you in Comp.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
I hated that class, but...
Yeah, writing. It's never mind.
Yeah, but I mean, credit to Dr. Alexander. She does a great job of teaching it.
Yeah, she does.
She made it really like understandable, and I really did learn a lot. Yeah. And she like forced me to like draw like certain stories out of myself, and I still hated it. But
she was very patient too. She's very patient, so that helps a lot. It's not like other teachers, but we're not calling out anyone.
I digress.
But so was that something that you struggled with at all? Like just being older than the rest of your classmates?
I didn't really struggle with it, like being older. Like I really didn't care. Yeah. And I think like for me, it was just kind of looking at my peers and being like, you should probably get that work done instead of like hanging out with your friends till 2:00 in the morning or staying up and playing Smash Bros.
Because I was that like more mature mindset.
Yeah, because I knew like I need to get my work done first, and if I get my work done, I actually have more time in the day to do the things I want. But if I do the things I want first, then I am rushing and stressed out about trying to get things done, and it's more you have to time crunch, and you do less work on it, and it's poor quality.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good mindset to have. I wish I knew that when I was a freshman, but I wasn't there yet.
I mean, I know people are like, oh, like you have deadlines, or like sometimes people do their best work under pressure, and that's why people like normally wait till the very end. The way I looked at it was like, I want to have more fun. So in order to have more fun and be like stress free, I'm gonna get more work done first, and then I'm gonna go play.
Yeah. So I like how you said like you weren't struggling with it. It was more of like, come on, guys. Don't mess it up.
I knew a few people too that like have gone before me, and like they were older when they went to school after they got out of the military. And one of my friends, he's like, Mero, just sit back and just observe people. Like, don't get involved with like the drama of like, because it's almost high school, because people are coming from high school to college, and that kind of follows some people right into college, but with more freedom.
Right.
So he was just like, bro, just sit back, relax, observe, and just do what you got to do to make it through.
Yeah, personally, I think that was my biggest struggle coming from high school. It's just like, it was basically the same thing with more freedom. I had more control over my schedule. I was able to do whatever I wanted. And so I just went crazy for a semester and a half. And then I came to my senses and I was like, okay, this is not right. Have to focus. And
how was that being in the DMA program? Like,
DMA, Price was excited, but there was a little bummer first semester, because it was at the same time, like just what I just said, that I had so much freedom and stuff, came at the same time as all of that. So he was expecting someone like my cousin, where I had the mindset to learning, bro, but it was just the sense of freedom that I just never experienced before. And so, yeah, I was a little all over the place, and I wasn't doing anything too bad or anything. Like, the worst things I would do is like skip classes or stuff like that, like just go have fun and
right.
go eat some other places. And then I realized I couldn't do that as a student because I don't have a lot of money.
Especially a DMA student though, like
right. And
you're doing like 2 or 3 projects at a time.
Yeah, and then that came, when I started working on all the projects, and I was like, okay, yeah, I don't have enough time. But yeah, I thank God I focused myself and I grew out of that.
Yeah, and you're doing great stuff now, so
yeah,
you learned something.
I'm excited for that. But so going back to your story, you said you had friends that they were also like in the military and then went for their career, their bachelors and stuff. Have you ever talked to someone that actually had a struggle when it comes to age, or not really?
Yeah, so the most of the struggles I've seen with people is like struggles that they had in the military and bringing that with them to college. Either if it's like physical or mental. But as far as like age and being older, it wasn't like, oh, I'm the old guy. I think once or twice people thought I was a professor, and they're like, I'd go to like, when I did start going to like student events, I'd get like weird looks like, what's the teacher doing here?
Right.
But then at the same time, people are like, oh, you're like only 23.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm 30.
Oh.
And they're like, what? No way. Show me your ID right now.
Honestly, you don't look like, and you don't act like a super old guy. Like, you actually, like, you stay young.
Yeah. That's one of the things I think, like, being around college students, it makes me feel young.
Yeah.
It makes people think that I am younger than what I really am.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like a project or getting some work done, people are like, who are you?
Why are you so mature?
Yeah. You're like, you're really mature. I was like, I understand, I guess, the game a little bit of life, of like, sometimes it doesn't matter what that person's saying. You just got to nod your head, smile, and do your thing.
I like that.
And they'll get over it. And sometimes people are like, you need to do this. And a lot of time I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. Even though I disagree, I don't do it. It's weird. And then like they'll come back and be like, hey, you did a real great job on this. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. Because like that, wow. There's like moments where people just want to step up and like put their big boy pants on and be like, I'm bigger than you or whatever. And then like, you just like, okay, yeah. Like I said, smile and nod. They'll come back when they cool off or, in a different mood and be like, wow, this is great. Great work that you've done. I'm like, yeah, cool.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. And yeah. So I don't try to, someone's like, hey, like you need to go do this or that. I'm not like, no, like you're wrong. You're whatever. It's okay. Yeah.
Talking back is pointless.
Yeah. So like, it's also shows like, a little bit of respect, and you don't want to insult their intelligence, and like, maybe they're just having a bad day and whatever.
Yeah. That's good. That's something I'm pretty sure a lot of people need to learn, to just like keep it to yourself, and when things cool down, it's easier to fix it if there's something to fix, and sometimes things fix themselves, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't like doing my conversations too long because I want people to stay till the end. But before we finish this, I just want you to give us like 3 points of advice for any like military students that are coming out of their military time and they're going into school. What would you recommend them? What are some things that you would have loved to know before, and what are some things that you would like to tell them?
I think like some of the things that I would have liked to learn a little sooner was probably something like the financial things, knowing what I'm actually getting paid for school. I get paid for school because the GI Bill. Excuse me. And just kind of like grants and stuff, and like how I can still apply for scholarships, and like that actually helps me in the end. Like that's what I survived off of for a long time without having to work. So I was able to put a lot of my focus into my schoolwork because, like I said, like I'm into it. I'm 100% invested. So being able to have some scholarship money back each semester really helped me to focus on school and not have to worry about, super strict deadlines.
Right.
I was able to just focus on the school and not have to worry about going to work, going to school, work. I didn't have time to do that paper or whatever.
And that's very good to know, because I feel like a lot of people, they say, I'm gonna join any branch of the military and they're gonna help me pay school and everything's gonna be fine. But there's so much more to that than that a lot of them don't know,
Yeah. Something else, advice would be get out there and like meet people. Start growing your social network sooner than later, because I think the more you wait, the harder it is.
Yeah, for sure.
I was actually kind of fortunate. I met some of my friends. One of my good friends, George, you know him. Yeah. He was in the Army, and so like we kind of connected, and he's very, very personable. And like because of George, I was actually able to branch out to other friend groups instead of staying with
socialized guy.
So without that group of friends, I probably would have been just like more focused on school than social. And like you need to find the balance. Right. There's a balance to that. So you can't just school, go home, go to sleep, wake up, gym, school.
Yeah.
There needs to be a balance to schoolwork, getting things done, and social life, meeting other people.
And what would be the very last one?
Try not to treat people like they're in the military.
Oh,
that's one thing that I didn't really struggle with it as much, but a little bit. And I would always tell my peers, like, I'm trying not to treat you like you're in the military right now. Because
in what sense? Like, were you trying to like give them orders or?
Yeah, so I didn't treat them like they were in the military, but like their mindset of like, why would you not do that? Or like, I can trust you to get that done instead of doing this. Or their understanding and reasoning behind something. Like I can't like look at you and be like, you're an idiot for doing that. Right? You just don't know.
Yeah.
So like I would tell people like, don't let me treat you like you're in the military.
Right.
So if like I'm coming across a certain way, let me know so I can adjust that, because I know like you haven't been through what I've been through, and you haven't been through like any sort of training to help you think
nice
in certain situations.
So there you go. If there's anyone listening or watching this that is a student that just came out of the military, then just have to pay attention to your finances, to your social network, and to how you treat people, because it all can get mixed up, and you want to learn that and apply it as soon as possible. That way the rest of your career goes pretty well. And so personally, what are some of your greatest goals right now? Let's say. I
always hate that question.
I know.
To be honest, I was like, you know what? I'm just trying to get to the next day and see what happens. You know, I'm just.
Let's say only one of your dream goals to finish this beautiful conversation.
Yeah, one of my dream goals. I think it'd be really nice to make a lot of money, obviously, in my field. But in order to that, I can find somebody and be like, I'm going to do this for you for free. So like charging people, decent amount of money for video work, and then finding like that one person, like maybe they're struggling or they have a super great story, they just can't afford it, and be like, you know what, I'm going to give you this $20,000 production for free out of my pocket. That's what I would like to do.
Yeah, I think that's a very nice thing to have in mind. And I personally think the same way. I really pray that God blesses me so that at some point I can like bless others without having to charge for it,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everything I'm going to do is going to be for free, but at least I'll be able to do it sometimes.
Yeah, like that one special one that comes along where
Right.
you're just like, there's something special about you and I want to bless you.
Right. I'll afford to be that one.
Yeah.
So, well, Steven, thank you so much
Yeah,
for
no
being
problem.
part of Needed Conversations.
Yeah.
And thanks. Shout out to you for setting up these lights. He helped me make this look way better. And
Like I said, I'm invested.
yeah, he is very invested.
Almost to the point though too, like I overdo it sometimes.
But I mean, I don't see it as something bad. I mean, every time it's
Yeah.
a learning experience. But I was running a little late before recording this, and I thought he was gonna be mad or something. I walked in,
Whatever.
he was setting up stuff. I was like, you're working with lights and stuff?" And he was like, "Yeah, you want to make it look better?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Yeah, it's all about presentation.
Yeah. for
And
sure.
if you're gonna do something and like this is my career field that I have something I want to do, why would I practice trash?
Right. Ooh.
I-
Someone needed to hear that. Someone. Why would you practice trash, guys? Oh my gosh.
Like my professor's not gonna see this and judge it. Maybe he will. I don't know. But
He might.
there's gonna be other people that see it. I don't know. Like practice makes perfect. So
Right.
why not do that, even if it's a small moment?
Right. I think our conversation.
That's a good note to end on.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with us once again. We give big shout out to Steven. Oh no, that was the wrong one.
Can I say one more thing real quick?
Yeah.
Go check out my podcast, Baller Barista.
Oh, for sure. You have to check it out. They talk about coffee.
Coffee.
And they had a really good guy. His name was Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Yeah, he talked about his experience in the coffee environment, and
Yeah.
that was fun.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on though too. So
Yeah,
enjoyed
for
it.
sure. So, guys, see you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, a comment, and if you're listening to this through a podcast, don't forget to leave a review because that's gonna help me take this to more people, and we'll be able to reach more people for Needed Conversations.
Reaching more people.
All right, guys. See you on the next one.
Whoa, welcome back. Thanks for staying till the end of this video, of this podcast episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. I know Steve, he's a very nice guy, very cool, and also his stories and his advice was very on point. So I'm very excited for what's to come for him and to hear the feedback and all the people that are gonna be blessed through this conversation. So once again, I remind you, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, comment, leave me a review if you're listening on podcast, and I'll see you here on the next one. Have a good one, y'all.